We're getting our Big 12 fix on today with Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 because something happened that disturbed both of us on Saturday, Drake. We're going to talk about Iowa State and how impressive of a win that was in Iowa City. But first, let's begin with Kansas. The most disappointing Big 12 team from the weekend. I stuck my neck out there for Kansas. Now, their Big 12 title hopes are not gone with a loss to Illinois, but I am concerned.
I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy. Kansas was
Great Incredibles reference. Great Incredibles reference. Well done.
To win the Big 12 and to be at the top of the conference and prove that Lance Leipold had brought his system to Lawrence, and it didn't matter that the name Kansas has been drugged through the mud for the last 20 years, that they're finally good at football, and maybe they're still good, but they're not great. They're not elite. They're probably not a Big 12 championship team, especially if they play like that. And Jalen Daniels wasn't the same Daniels that we saw pre-injury. And Devin Neal wasn't the bell cow we thought could lead Kansas to victory no matter what. And the defense was still good. You're just not supposed to rely on the defense when your offense has weapons like that. And the weapons weren't there. Now, do we pin that on new offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes and Andy Kotelnicki being gone? Part of that, there's going to be some learning experience and learning curve. But, buddy, you've got at least... This is not a new Mustang in the garage. This is not a new Rolls Royce, but it's at least a 2020 Nissan Maxima. You know, it's got something there, but it looked like an Isuzu, and you never want to be an Isuzu in college football.
No, it was a 2001 Volvo. You know, it's technically serviceable, but you look at it and go, I'm not impressed by anything that's going on in that particular car. Nothing exciting is going to take place in that particular car. But I think that for Kansas, the disappointing thing for Jayhawks fans like you and me, obviously, was how Jalen Daniels played. This isn't his first go-round. I know he's got a new offensive coordinator, but part of the reason I felt okay picking them to make but not win the Big 12 championship game this year against Utah is that Jalen Daniels is really good. And when he's healthy, he's been winning a lot. And that's, of course, the predicate to all this, but he looks plenty healthy. And he turned the ball over, was it 3-4 times in this football game? That's what was concerning. And look, it's early in the season. You have time to right the ship. You could still go, 9-3, have two Big 12 losses, make the conference title game. That turnaround is still possible. The Kansas team that a lot of people like us believed in is still in there. Mm-hmm. It just was not on the field in Champaign. And credit to Illinois. Luke Altmaier looks like a much different football player. Brett Bielema did a heck of a job. Crowd was great. I don't want to take everything away from the Illini. Kansas did not play up to its standard here.
No, I'm looking right now at Pick 6 previews and their Big 12, Big 10 preseason rankings, and Kansas is up there in most offensive categories. Defensively in the Big 10, Illinois is ranked 17th on the defensive line. They are 12th with the linebacking core, 14th in the defensive backfield. You would think that a quarterback like Jalen Daniels would pick that apart. And not only did he not pick it apart, he went 18 for 32, 141 yards, and 3 interceptions. Those 2 touchdowns ended up not amounting to too much in the 23-17 loss.
That's just nauseating. That's nauseatingly bad for a guy of his talent. He's so much better than that.
You tell me that Illinois is going to score 23 points. I tell you that Kansas is a guaranteed lock to win, and the offense stunk bad.
It did. And my game score prediction was Kansas 34, Illinois 24. Illinois did exactly...
Which is a very similar score to last year, and Kansas brought back all of the offense.
And not the offensive coordinator. Maybe that's the missing piece of the puzzle. Maybe they just need time to get things right.
Or could have been the devastating crowd in Champaign. Very tough to play in front of.
It's true. It was a great crowd. It was a great crowd. Credit to Illinois fans. It was a great crowd. It should not have derailed Kansas that much. But elsewhere around the Big 12 from this past week, Drake, Iowa State, it felt like they were going to lose for about, how many minutes are in a football game? Let's see. Last I checked, there were 60. How many minutes did it feel like Iowa State was going to lose that football game? 58 and a half? 57? I mean, 56 is the minimum that you thought they were losing that game. And you look up and wait, that ball went through the uprights. Iowa State won. What did you make of this game?
I thought our preview was great. Let's pull the curtains back a bit. We both got done with that preview last week, Iowa State. We're like, oh, that was one of the previews of all time. We really didn't say anything because it was tough in a game like this to say much. You're looking at 2 offenses that are trying to prove that they are better than last year and improved coming off of defensive-led years. And then the defenses were good. That's your assessment. You go into the game, it's exactly what you get. The most impressive part to me was we looked at Iowa State and Matt Campbell and said, hey, score 20 points, but do it in 30 minutes. That's what they did. The offense went out in the second half and won the game entirely then in what was a non-competitive first half offensively. Iowa State, Rocco Abusama, they pick it up. Jalen Knowles specifically I thought was a star in this game and should be somebody the rest of the Big 12 looks at as a legitimate target to be a playmaker moving forward. In that second half, Iowa State showed the offense can turn it on when it needs to. And if you get that consistently, they're very dangerous in Big 12 play. And they did it at Kinnick Stadium, which is very tough to go into and win. And sorry, I listened to the Big Ten squad last week, and they were all like, oh, Cade McNamara is good. Wrong. He's not. We did not see Cade McNamara.
Just to be clear, I didn't say that.
Yeah, others did, and they were incorrect.
Others did express that general sentiment.
Cade McNamara's year, yeah. Oh, yeah, you scored 40 against Western Illinois, Iowa State. Good, nice job. This week he was bad.
Yeah, he did not pick it up, as the kids might say. But someone who definitely didn't pick it up was Colorado. And you texted me specifically wanting to come and air out grievances because my take on Colorado is, unfortunately for the Deion haters out there, he's not going to go away this year. Colorado is going to be right about what I expect them to be, which is a 6-6 football team. I think that's still incredibly attainable. My reasoning, Drake, is that there is not a single team on Colorado's schedule that is decisively better than Nebraska. If you picked up this Nebraska team and you put them back where they belong in the Big 12 Conference, they are one of the preseason favorites, in my view, to win the league. And I didn't expect Colorado to be a conference championship team this year. Some people did. That's your mistake. Fine. I can live with people making that sort of stake, getting overly optimistic here. Why am I wrong on Colorado that they can still be a 6-win football team?
I want to go first. I am not confident we know that about Nebraska yet, that this version of Nebraska could be a competitor at the top of the Big Ten or competitor at the top of the Big 12. Preseason, top, 5, 6 Big Ten team?
No, I don't think they're on. I think they're going to be close to unbeaten, no more than one loss going into Ohio State. I think they'll get beat pretty badly. Think Michigan State, Mel Tucker, 2021 in Columbus.
Okay.
I think it'll look like that.
And that there's a very good chance that that game goes that way. However, for Nebraska, I'm not a buy yet. The reason I'm not a buy is the same reason that Arkansas. I've got a lot of Oklahoma State fans. I'm going to try to make a transitive property thing here. I've got a lot of Oklahoma State fans like, oh, well, Arkansas is better this year. Why? You made them look better. That's the sample size we have. UAPB and this game. For Nebraska, we have UTEP and Colorado. Oh, well, Nebraska looks a lot better. Yeah, because Colorado made them look better. This is a Colorado team that the issue is not necessarily, Spencer, that they're not talented. We know that if you ask 24/7 Sports, they have more 4 and 5 stars than anybody else in the entire Big 12. The problem comes from a horrendous offensive line once again, and B, a culture that will put them in the mud playing even teams like Colorado State or UCF, specifically Kansas State or Arizona. I don't believe that Colorado has they have Deion Sanders. Colorado's not a thing anymore. It's a Fugazi. Deion Sanders is the thing. He has used this program as a vessel for self-promotion, not as a football program. He wants one thing to win, and that's the last name Sanders. And as long as that's the case, Colorado will miss a bowl game this year. They don't have a football team. They've got a hodgepodge of AAU kids who want to make money. Okay. That's it.
I hear you there, but answer me this. 2023 Colorado plays 2024 Colorado. Who wins that football game?
Final score 31-24, 34-24, 2024 Colorado wins. Improved, yes. Bowl team, absolutely not.
They were a 4-win team last year in a loaded Pac-12. They're in a significantly weaker conference. Admittedly, they have a tough schedule, but who in 15 seconds or less can you give me, besides Utah, a defense that is going to be as good as the one they went up against when they went to Nebraska?
Oklahoma State. Oh, well, shit. Can't say that now. Shoot.
Yeah.
We can't say that now.
Your mind went to a team that gave up 648 yards at home, and I think I have made my point here.
I do like UCF's defensive backfield, and Kansas State still could have a very good defense.
Don't hate it. I'll take Nebraska. That Nebraska defensive staff, I will be shocked if at the end of this year, Nebraska's defensive staff
you are correct about that.
Intact. Yeah.
You're correct about that. Yeah. I don't know if that, we're 2 weeks in. I don't know if that were. Yeah, you weren't correct about Kansas, were you? You and I over there just peddling, trying to ask.
I like how you dragged me down into the mud with you there with that one. That was
good.
Right
there. I was right there too with Kansas.
Yeah, I know. But hey, Kansas has time to figure it out. But stick around, Drake, because we have to make predictions for Week 3 in the Big 12. The Big 12 arguably has the most exciting lineup, top to bottom, of football games this week, including the big one on Friday night in Manhattan. Predictions for all of that coming from Drake 12 Locked On Big 12. That's next. Before we talk predictions, let's talk FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. Why? They're America's #1 sportsbook, and we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel any time. FanDuel's got everything you want for college football. Drake and I are about to make a bunch of picks. If you think we are crazy, out of our minds, no way this team wins, no way that team loses, you can go put your money where your mouth is. Every college football game, every NFL game, every game you could ever want to bet on is over at FanDuel, so go check them out. Visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel.com, that's the place to go. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and our official sportsbook sponsor here at the Locked On Network.